so bad. Whoa, I want you, baby. I want you so bad.
Oh man, don't you just love that song? Oh my goodness, you all have got to get some more music from Ascend. That is Shalonda Bowler and Mushim Suit back in the day. Can you believe that? All right, everybody. It is Tuesday, July the 12th. It is the second Tuesday of July. You're listening to WVRO Soul and Master Force Radio. How's it going for you? This is your host, Boo Suit. And as always, we are here to give you those good vibes, that bomb knowledge, and also some juicy information about how the cosmos is going. So before we start talking to our health is wealth expert for today, we're going to check in with Mother Mecca. Hey, Mother Mecca, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I am well. I am well. I am well. What's going on
That's
out there,
great.
girl?
Oh. I am so alive right now. I have these flutters, these jitters, and I'm like, what's going on? But we are feeling this full moon energy, and the full moon is in Capricorn. You know, I'm a Capricorn as well as you. So it's going
Mm-mm.
to affect us much differently. And I'm trying to control myself, honey. It's like I want to do 55 things at one time. And it's just so high right now. This is this moon here is a super moon. And that is why we are feeling so much of the energy, because you
Mm.
know that the full moon, you can feel that energy from 3 days before, 3 days after. And what is, even before I get started with that full moon energy, last week we had a lot of things going on in the, atmosphere, the universe, and it was affecting our planet. And right up until this full moon, we had our moon in Scorpio. And that
Mm.
was really, that is a fixed water sign, and Cancer is a water sign too. So that's why we were having so much of a lot of this energy going on. We were unveiling things about ourselves that we probably didn't even think about. We don't even know why that was coming to us, but it was because that moon was in Scorpio. All these hidden things that was coming up to give us clarity about the situations that we were going through. Scorpio also is like evolution of man and woman. So that it was like a transformation that was going on in our lives. And not only that, it was about ourselves and others. So we were feeling that, and then we went straight into this new moon, full moon energy, right into Capricorn. And by it being a super moon, it's going to do a lot more with us. So it's basically, when you look at the night sky, it's about 90. It looks like that moon. What makes it think it's a super moon? It's about 90% full. And at that point, it's like the closest. This super moon right here is going to be very, very close to Earth. So we're going to get a lot of energy from it. And that's why we're feeling it already. Now, not only that, it's a lot of things that's going to happen too with other planets during this time. And so that's why, again, I'm so heightened. And it's like I've been controlling my emotions by just being, I've been doing a lot of rest. I told you about that before, that sometimes you just got to rest yourself if you're feeling
Yes.
heightened. So
Mm.
we're in conjunction also with Pluto in Capricorn. So that is a planet of transformation as well, and the underworld. So it gives us signals to purge things that we don't need in our life. When we have like this full moon at the core, it's really going with your into emotional experiences. So you want to make sure that you have some things that you're writing down. I always tell you guys to journal. You need to journal and meditate and think about those things that's going on, because sometimes you may not be understanding, because before I really got deep into figuring out what was going on, I couldn't understand why I was so, jittery. But by being a Capricorn, it is going to affect me a little bit different, because it's going to expose those truths, some emotions and thoughts that we have had buried in our subconscious. And it's just like an overload of things that's going on. This moon is also called a buck moon. Do you have a question, Moon?
No, I'm just listening. Okay, a buck moon. Okay.
Yeah, it's also called a buck moon, and that's because during this time, I'm into if you're not into using the old farmer's almanac, you really should get on that. Even as a teacher, I will have my students do writing assignments from that. If their parents, were not comfortable with that, I always have like the daily writing, what's going on. How sometimes you can write about or every day is like a national day somewhere. So it may be National Strawberry Day, different things like that. Some of my students are really into like the Farmer's Almanac, so I'll give them that option also to write. So the Old Farmer's Almanac is talking about this time being the buck moon. And the reason why they call it that is to honor the growth cycle of the male deer's antlers. And so when you think about that, it's like the bucks are shedding, and then they're regrowing their antlers each year, and it's producing a stronger, more impressive set. When you got to take that and base it really like on your life as well. You should be shedding things, those things that you do not need anymore. Go around actually even cleaning your home from the back to the front. You sweep all of those things that you do not need out. You use cleaning products to clean your floors, your walls, and everything, to just get those old things out and start all of this full growth that you're having, that you're going to receive. Some Capricorn tenacity. Capricorns, we are about rigorous work. We're about growth. And so you got to take that, this energy that we're going to have over the next, I say 6 days, because, it's 3 before, 3 after, and really, get these things going, your growth, and anything hardships that you're going through. Don't take it as oh, this is happening to me, I lost money, I don't have a job, those things like that. You take it and you figure out a plan to execute, and I believe that you'll be fine.
Okay. Yes. Well, I am excited about this Capricorn buck moon. Okay.
Yes, it is a super moon. It's
a super moon.
Yes, it is going to be so powerful. And if you plan on being a breadwinner, safeguarding your power, doing things like that, all your responsibility, you can really, really do that. When you think about like some stars or people that you may know that are Capricorns, you just got to choose which way you're going to go with this power. If you think about it, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was a Capricorn. He has strength in speaking. He has strength in crowds. He has strength in being peaceful and resound. So you can do that, or you can be like a Jeff Bezos, the man that was a space rider. So it just the different things. I always tell you, check in your chart to figure out what it will do for you at this time. So
Wonderful.
check in your chart and see how it actually affects you, because it's going to be totally different for each individual person, even down to your birthday. I keep saying that. So again, you can always contact me for your natal chart reading. I am Mother Mecca, which is always mystical, eccentric, calming, creative, and always anointed. And you can contact me on Facebook under Mecca Mecca, or even Mecca Eve's Glass under my name. Or you can contact me on Instagram, which is Mother Mecca LLC 115 LLC. And you can always text me at 708-253-8795. And since this is an international channel, you can inbox me too if you don't have a way to text me on my cell phone. And I'm looking forward for you to get some of this Capricorn energy so you can go ahead and shed and grow. I'm turning it back over to you.
All right, Mother Mecca, thank you. We look forward to next week. Hopefully we'll have some good records, some good things happening. People want to tell us about it, okay?
Oh, yeah, that'll be awesome.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
All right. Okay, so thank you. We love when Mother Mecca comes in and give us a rundown on this energy, because if nothing else, we have to be able to ground ourselves and align ourselves with the universe. Okay? However, this is the second Tuesday of the month. And second Tuesday is what? Health is wealth. And I'm bringing to you one of the most phenomenal healers on the planet, or at least in my orbitary world, that I want you to get to know. I want you to get to meet. He is a phenomenal teacher, a phenomenal healer, a doctor, a naturopath, a chiropractor. He has been just amazing in his work in the community. When I first met him many years ago, he was actually teaching Kemetic yoga. He is the founder of Kemetic yoga, and he has gone on to create many Kemetic yoga masters. Okay, and the masters have created masters. So this is how phenomenal the work of Dr. Hapi. Dr. Hapi, are you there? Can you join us and come in and introduce yourself so the audience can have a chance to get to know you and hear how phenomenal you are and why we need to hear about the 7 pillars of health. How are you, Dr. Hapi?
I'm wonderful. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear. Thank you so much. I appreciate you making time to share yourself with my listening audience, because I believe that what you teach is just so phenomenal, and I want everybody to hear it. So I want to do what I can to get you on the mic as often as I possibly can. How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing this knowledge with your public and with the people that are in your circle who deserve to know this knowledge. And thank you for being who you are, Moot. You are a oracle for our people, and you guide our people into greater knowledge and understanding of themselves and the power that they possess to change and improve their reality and improve their circumstances and conditions of life. And so the work that I do is more individual as well as collective. I focus on a lot of areas because we are affected by a lot of areas. And one of those areas that we are affected about is health. And because we lack so little knowledge, that it allows us to be victimized because of the little knowledge that we know on how to take care of the most precious gift in the universe. And that is the gift of this sacred body temple.
Yes. Yes. So I want you to start off. I'd like for the audience to just hear some of the ways in which you have gathered knowledge before you actually start talking about the 7 pillars. Is that okay? Because the information that you have is so well rounded. I'd like them to get a glimpse of it. Is that possible?
Well, I can tell you about my journey.
Yes.
I was 20 years old when I started on my journey. And at that time, the reason I started on my journey is because I was diagnosed with an incurable disease. So I was diagnosed with a disease that affects Black people, and this particular disease is called sarcoidosis. The word itself means that your lungs are going to be scarred. So sarcoidosis, your lungs are going to be scarred, and you're going to have inflammation in your lungs where you won't be able to breathe. It will be something like emphysema. Have you heard of this emphysema? Or
Yes, yes.
COPD, where you're having a problem breathing, and then they give you medication, and then eventually you're on a respirator. And then in the last days of your life, your energy is so low, you can't even walk 4 steps without being out of breath.
Mm.
You have to carry a portable respirator with you. So I was diagnosed with this condition when I was 20, and the doctor who diagnosed me told me that between 30 and 50, I would die. He
Mm.
stated that this particular disease, it's incurable. There is no cure. There is none. And it
Mm.
mainly affects Black people. So I'm sure in your radio audience, in your radio land, I'm sure there are people who have heard of Bernie Mac, who was a pretty
Yes.
popular comedian. And
Mm-hmm.
he was well known for movies. He had stepped into movies like Ocean 11. He was involved with TV shows that he was like the main host, and he would do a narrative of his show every day. And it was kind of like a Bill Cosby kind of show. He was a father, a knowledgeable father, and a good father. And he was diagnosed with this condition also called sarcoidosis.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing was that he did die at 50 years old,
Mm.
and he died here at Northwestern Hospital. Now, most people know of Northwestern as a great hospital, and it does help save people's lives. But unfortunately, in his case, they did not have a cure for him. He died of 2 different pneumonias, and he also died of a condition that shows up in the hospital. It's an infection that you can get while you're in the hospital called MRSA. And he got that condition while he was in the hospital also, the infection of the MRSA. So I was supposed to die of this condition, and it started me on my journey because I could not accept the fact that I was going to die by 50. So what I did was I started in the quest. In life, we have quests that we must start in if we are to change our reality in life. So I started on this quest, and the quest was a search. It was a seeking. I needed to seek the answers to afford me a greater amount of time in life. And what I did is that I went to seek out the knowledge of a master teacher who knows the secrets of the breathing. And this was not a doctor, this was a Swami. Swami is a word that means teacher in India.
Mm-hmm.
This was a Swami. So this Swami, they had brought him to America from India. And at 13 years old, because he was so advanced in his knowledge, they made him a Swami of the Ganges River in India. So if anybody know about the Ganges River, they know that is a holy river. That's a healing river, and people go there to be healed every day. They bathe in
Yes.
that river. So at 13 years old, he was very advanced for his years. And he went on to school to Oxford and to Cambridge and received a PhD in psychology. And so he became my teacher, and he started teaching me about the breath. But before he became my teacher, I was connected to him through a sister who was a yoga teacher. And she taught on the north side of Chicago, on Chicago Avenue, actually, at a YMCA called Lawson Y. She was 55 years old. And she was teaching yoga postures, and she was very good for her age of 55 years old. Well, she's the one that directed me to the Swami. So in my quest for the knowledge to get my breathing back and to get my healing forward, she said, you need to go and study with the Swami. So I went, and the Swami, his center was way out in Glenview, Illinois. So if anybody know about Chicago and Glenview, Glenview is about 50 miles from Chicago. So I had to travel there every day, 50 miles from Chicago. There were not too many African Americans. It was
Right.
only 3 African Americans at that time that were even into yoga. And so I went out there, and he started teaching me about the breath. And he also started teaching me about meditation. And so as I learned about the breath, he informed me that your breathing is affected by what you eat also, and it's affected by your thoughts. And so I started changing what I ate. I started eating a plant-based diet, and I started taking certain herbs and certain oils, essential oils, like peppermint, that helped my breathing to come back. Now, when I first went out there, I could not even pull a breath. I could not even pull the breath through my nostrils. But as I developed, I could pull the breath again. And then over time, I could pull the breath even greater. Well, during this time, I also seeked out a doctor. His name was Dr. Roland Sidney, and he was a naturopathic physician. Now, most of those in your radio land might not know what a naturopath is, but this is a holistic doctor who learns about nutrition, and he learns how to lay hands on people. And he's something like a chiropractor, between a chiropractor and a masseuse. But his treatment is so therapeutic. You feel so good from the treatments. And at that time, also, I had a knee injury from playing, I call it neighborhood football. So in the neighborhood I grew up in, the young men were sort of rough. We didn't have equipment like when you hear of professional football. We would go in the park in the wintertime. At the park, the grass was hard as concrete. And so we would try to tackle each other. We would say to each other, I'm sending you to the hospital today.
Oh my
That's how
goodness.
we played football. So this one young brother, he did a rolling block up under me as I was running with the ball, and it tore my knee up. My knee was so torn up that I would be walking down the street and my knee would give out. It would fall out of the socket. And while the knee was out of the socket, it was excruciating pain. The pain was just so excruciating, you had to try to get the knee back in the socket right then. So I would be
Doesn't
standing on
sound
the
good.
It was terrible. I would be standing on the street trying to kick my knee back into the socket like I was doing martial art, like I was doing karate kick, the Karate Kid or something.
Right.
And the majority of the time, I could get my knee back in the socket with 3 or 4 kicks or 5 or 6 kicks. So with that, I had went to the orthopedic doctor, and they said, oh, we must operate on your knee. We must cut the ligaments, and we must tie them tighter so that your knee will not fall out of the socket. He said, but you won't have regular flexibility. Your knee will never have regular flexibility again. And so that's when I started seeing Dr. Sidney also for my knee problem. So Dr. Sidney, he would also ask me about what did I eat. And he started telling me about the healthier foods to eat. He said, you don't need to eat processed foods. You need to eat healthy foods. And you need to come and see me 3 times a week so I can fix your knee so you won't have to get surgery. So I started going to see Dr. Sidney, and sure enough, he fixed my knee. I did not have to get surgery, and I still had the flexibility. In fact, as I was studying with the Swami and I was studying yoga, I became more flexible. And so during this time, being a seeker that I was, I remember the time that the Swami had an event down at the Palmer House. 5,000 people came to that event from all over the country.
Wow.
And the Swami, he had some other Swamis come to the event. He had one Swami who was 84, whose body was like 20. And he was so advanced, I was so impressed with him because he could do things I couldn't do. And I was already 20 and he was 84. I said, I want to be like that Swami when I grow up. Now, when I say when I grow up, I don't want to wait till 84 to become like that Swami.
I know, right?
So I started studying very diligent. And then there was another Swami. This Swami only weighed about 110 pounds. He was skin and bones. But he was a grand master of the breathing. So he showed the powers he had developed with his breath. So one of the powers he had developed was the power where he could send power into his fingers and have his fingers be as strong as scissors. So he showed when he squeezed his fingers together, he could cut leaves like cutting leaves with his scissors. And then he showed that he had these men come out of the audience and put a rope around his neck, like a rope that you would put around an elephant's foot to hold the elephant from running away. And he had 5 men on one side and 5 men on the other side pulling at his neck. He took his chin, and the power that he put in his neck from his breath allowed him to cut the rope with his chin, like he was cutting a rope with a knife. Then he showed a demonstration where he put himself in this contraption, and he sat down in it, and he had a chain on this contraption, and he put his breath into his legs, where his knees became so strong that when he straightened his legs out, he broke the chain.
Oh my goodness.
And then
this had to be fascinating to see.
It was extremely, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable because when he cut the leaves jumped like 3-4 feet away from each other when he cut the leaves in half. And so he had another technique where he put it was a bike, where they have these bike chains, these cable chain, and they put the bike lock into the cable chain to prevent the bike from being stolen. He put this cable chain around his waist, and he flexed his waist and broke the cable chain. So he had these tiger sleeves on his wrists, and he had this doctor come out of the audience. And so the doctor was overweight and wore glasses. The doctor looked quite unhealthy. Like he might have about 6 or 7 problems, like high blood pressure and a bunch of problems, because it took him a little effort to just come up on the stage. He was winded. So anyway, the Swami, who had all these powers, the Swami told the doctor, he says, "Feel my stomach." His stomach was so strong, we call it beyond the 6-pack. He said to the doctor, he said, "Like granite," because the Indians speak with an accent.
Yes.
He says, "Like granite. My stomach is like granite. I am strong as granite, like granite." So anybody who knows the material of granite know that granite is one of the strongest materials. It's stronger than concrete. And so the Swami said, "I am that strong." So I said, I want to be like that Swami when I grow up, because he has an invincible kind of body.
So wait, so Doc, so hold on just quick. So you're saying this is still when you're in your 20s?
Yes, I was introduced to the Swamis when they had the event at the Palmer House. 5,000 people showed up, and the Swami had his Swami friends come and show us their power.
Yes.
And so I had read in the autobiography of a yogi, I had read that the Swamis had superpowers. And so I said, I want some of these powers that the breath could give. And so in my seeking, I was being exposed by the Swami who was teaching me meditation and teaching me certain secrets in the breath.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gave me a mantra to study, and the mantra allowed me to go very deep into the meditation. And the meditation allowed me to develop certain powers myself. So that was when I was 20 years old. I'll be 73 this year.
Wow.
And within that period of time, I learned some powers. I have some powers myself now.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was that the first thing that happened is that my breath came back. I did
Mm-hmm.
not have the disease anymore. I had cured the disease by hanging with the Swamis and hanging with the holistic doctor. They helped me to cure my breathing problem. So
Yes.
when I got into my 30s, my breathing was better than my 20s. When I got into my 40, my breathing was better than my 18s. When I got into my 50s, my breathing was better than my 15s.
Mm-hmm.
When I got into my 60s, my breathing was better than my 13s. Now that
Wow.
I'm 70, my breathing is better than any athlete I have ever met.
Wow.
And I've met some of the top athletes. I've met athletes like Richard Dent and Michael Jordan and all these athletes. My breathing is better than all of these athletes when they were in their prime. In fact, my breathing became so good, I became a sport medicine specialist. And I developed a special breathing technique for athletes to help them become better. So one of the athletes that I helped, his name was Richard Dent. And Richard, he was starting to decline. He was at 31 years old. In football, that's an old age. So he was starting to lose his power. He was getting tired. He couldn't keep up with the halfback. He couldn't have enough energy by the fourth quarter. And so he was starting to become mediocre. Now, prior in his younger years, Richard Dent was a beast. He was known all throughout the football, all throughout that world as one of the best linemen because they would call him, they would say he was the bullet because he would run at the quarterback and he would do a dive, a lunging dive, diving straight at the quarterback like a bullet and take out the quarterback. He was a terror. He was a terror in the football in that world. And so when I got with him, he didn't have enough terror to even attack an old woman on a cane. He had lost his power almost like that. So I started working with him with my special breathing technique. And within 3 months, he was back like he was when he first came into the football league. He was a terror again.
Wow.
So what happened was the number one team, who was the San Francisco 49ers at the time, this was Jerry Rice. A lot of people have heard of Jerry Rice. He's like a Michael Jordan of football. He's well known. And if you saw him play, he was mechanical perfection in motion. He could catch the ball running downfield while the ball is coming to him. He's running toward the end zone and he would catch it in his arm and not miss a step.
Wow.
And so anyway, the 49ers saw how much Richard Dent had improved because within 3 months of working with him with my special breathing technique, Richard was playing better than he had ever played at all. The news people were like, "What are you doing, Richard? Your game is improving so dramatically. What are you doing?" So Richard would always tell him, he says, "I have a secret weapon." He says, "My secret weapon gives me the advantage to become super again." to become a super athlete. So by the end of the season, by Thanksgiving time, Richard had led his team, and Richard was eating the turkey leg. Whoever wins the team, they get a chance to eat the turkey leg.
Oh, wow.
He was eating the turkey leg, and they were saying, Richard, what are you doing? You have improved so much. Well, the next year, the 49ers saw how much Richard improved, and they had Richard to come to play with them the next year and increase his salary by 5 times his salary.
Wow. Okay. From
So then
breathing.
from breathing. So the next year, Richard was playing with the 49ers. They were the #1 team at the time. And so then Richard, he called me from my office. He called me. He said, Dr. Hapi, he said, I need you to fly down. I'm going to send you the ticket and send the limousine to pick you up and bring you from the airport to the hotel, because I'm going to need you to come down here to Miami and help us win the Super Bowl, because we've qualified for the Super Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
I
That had to
said,
be exciting.
that was very exciting. I said, Richard, I said, you qualified for the Super Bowl? He said, yes. He said, I was going to fly you to San Francisco to help us beat the Cowboys. He said, but I knew you was very busy in your office with helping the people from the community, so I didn't want to take you from there. He says, but we're really going to need you to be here to work on the players that I have chosen to help us win the Super Bowl. He said, I've chosen 12 players, and I want you to put your special breathing on the 12 players and help them win the Super Bowl. I say, well, who are some of these players? He said, well, the first one that will knock on my door at the hotel, at the Hyatt, will be Jerry Rice. I say, Jerry Rice? I say, I've seen him. I heard him. I say, he's a pretty good player. He said, he's a Michael Jordan of football. I said, okay, that sounds pretty exciting. So I get down there. I fly down to Miami. Richard has the limousine waiting on me to bring me to the hotel. I get to the hotel. They're just coming back from practice. So Richard sees me with my white coat at my table, and he tells security to bring me up on the floor, because there's people everywhere trying to get autographs from Richard and Jerry Rice and all of them. So the security bring me through all the people, bring me up on the floor, and this is where Richard and all the other players have their room in the hotel on this floor.
Okay.
So Richard shows me the list. So the list, it has some linemen on the list. It has some halfbacks. It has some quarterbacks. Not quarterback. It has some receivers. And Jerry Rice was one of the receivers. With another receiver, his name was Ricky Waters. Okay. So Richard said, I want you to work on all of these players, and I want you to get them tuned up like me with the breath, so that when we get ready to go and play, that we will be good on the offense and the defense, so that we can make touchdowns on the offense and the defense, and we'll win the championship. So of the 12 players, there was this one player. He was a lineman like Richard, but his knee had developed tendonitis. So when you get tendonitis, your knee is painful when you have to use it. And so he said, work on him, Doc, and help his knee so that he can intercept the football, and on the defense, he can make some touchdowns. Now, this player was a lineman like Richard. They attacked the quarterback and made the quarterback fumble the ball so that they can intercept it. So this player, while I was working on him, he had never experienced what I was doing. He had been in many teams, so he had known all the different trainers and the different people to help them supposed to get their physical together. He kept asking Richard, what is this he's doing, Richard? What is this? Richard said, you will see when it's time to play. You will see what it is. So then game time happened. Now, this particular player, he only was going to get $90,000. Can you imagine? You a professional veteran in the football league, and you only making $90,000. That's how much your salary has went down. However, in his contract, if they win the Super Bowl, he was going to get a $900,000 bonus.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, so as I'm working on it, he kept asking Richard, "What is this, Richard?" Richard told him, "Just breathe, just do what Doc is showing you, and you'll see when you get out there on the field."
Mm-hmm.
So when it was time to get out on the field, do you know he made interceptions? And
Wow.
he helped them. He helped them to get touchdowns on the defense side. So
Wow.
they were making touchdowns back to back. The offense was making touchdowns where Jerry Rice was catching the ball and making touchdowns, and Ricky Waters, these were the receivers I worked on. They was just making touchdowns back to back. And Jerry Rice, when he came in, he knocked on Richard's door. Jerry Rice said, "I heard that you're the secret weapon." He says, "I want the first session." He says, "Because I want the fastest touchdown in football history." So they, within 2.5 quarters, they had racked up 42 points already.
Oh
They
my
were
goodness. Were
making
you watching?
touchdowns back and forth. They was making so many. They just dominated the game. They just dominated it. So they
Okay.
were playing against the San Diego Chargers, which was the football team they were playing against. And the San Diego, at that time, they only had 10 points. So they had already won the game. Jerry Rice and them had already won the game. So they took Jerry Rice and them out of the game, and they let the players who were in the second string and the third string, they let everybody play. Well, the San Diego Chargers, they did rack up another 11 points. They did make it to 21.
Okay.
But by this time, that was a whole nother quarter and a half that they had a chance to do that. But meanwhile, Jerry Rice and them, they had finished the game. They were done. The game was over. It was already won. So then they had the victory party. You know, when you win a championship like that, you know, it's a big hoopla to it.
Yes, it
So
is.
they have a victory party after. So Jerry Rice, he was at the victory party, and Richard Dent had given me a ticket to watch them come in and play the Super Bowl. He gave me a ticket to the Super Bowl.
Of course
So
he did.
I was the ticket. I could have sold it for $5,000 because that's what they were selling the tickets for around there. Because everybody wanted a ticket, but I said I want to watch this game up close. So Tina Turner, she did the halftime in that particular game. Tina Turner.
Oh, that was nice.
That was nice too. So anyway, so anyway, they have the victory party, and Richard gives me the sleeve that you put on the wrist to show access where they let you in. He gave me a sleeve.
Yeah.
He said, "Come to the victory party and be at the victory party with us." So I put the sleeve on and I come to the victory party, and security, they look at my sleeve. They say, "You go this way." And so the way they directed me, they were directing me to the way to be over there with Richard Dent and all the other players.
Oh.
So I go, and then when I come in the door, Jerry Rice, he's on this platform. He's signing autographs. He see me come in the door. He says, "Dr. Hapi, come over here. Come over here with us." Because there was another side where the people who were invited to the party, they were on one side of the platform, and the players were on the other side.
Yeah.
So the players, they had their long cigars. They were sitting there and laughing and joking and having a good time because they had won the championship. So I went over there with Richard and them. Jerry Rice was over there, and all the players were over there. So I asked the players, I said, "How did you all feel after I worked on you all and brought you all into the breath where you all could feel vital again and play extraordinary well?" They say, "We felt fresh. We felt like we were ready to come and take this championship. We felt so good from your sessions."
Wow.
So anyway, that was my introduction. But after that, I had a chance to see how this breath really, really could be useful, not for the athletes, but for people who were older, Shemsu-t. There was this one minister that I had a chance to help. If I mention his name, everybody knows him. Everybody know him all over the country. And so he called me because he wasn't able to finish his sermon. And so he called me. He said, "I need your counsel because I can't finish my sermon. I'm coughing." I said, "Well, did you talk to the medical doctors about it?" He said, yes, I talked to him and they ran a lot of tests. He said, but they can't find anything wrong with me. He said, but I know there's something wrong because I can't finish my sermon without coughing. I can't finish my message. So I said, well, I'll come and see you, minister. And then we will see if I can help you. So I went to see the minister. And after I went to see him, I said, now, minister, I said, I have a super well program. I say, but this program is only for athletes. I say, but I'm willing to let you in on this program if you be very serious. I say, because this is a program to bring you better than you could ever be in your whole life if you're willing to do your part. So the minister say, I'm willing to do my part.
Yes.
I said, now you have to come see me a couple of times a week. This is not something you come once or twice and you're at the super level. I said, you have to come every week, and each week you're going to get better and better and better. He said, I'm willing to do my part. I will come every week, and I want to see how much better you can help me get and how much better my breathing can get. I said, okay, minister. I said, we will start next week. So the minister started coming to see me every week, Shemsu-t. Do you know, as the ministers start coming into my sessions, the ministers start feeling the power that the breath can give you.
Yes.
Do you know the ministers start feeling so good, the ministers start lifting weights.
Okay.
The breath started giving him so much power. Do you know in 1 year, he had developed to the point that he can lift 500 pounds.
What?
That is the strength of a Samson. Because he only weighed 190 pounds. He can lift 500 pounds. But that's at 62 years old. He was 62. He wasn't no young athlete.
Right.
So even today, he can do a sermon that lasts 5 hours and still have energy left over.
Oh my goodness, 5-hour sermons? Okay.
He can do a 5-hour, 6-hour sermon with energy left over. So anyway.
That is phenomenal. But hold on, before you go to the next one, hold on just a second. I want to remind our audience that we are listening to Dr. Asar Hapi, who is talking to us about health is wealth on WBRO Soul Radio, hosted by Shemsu-t on Master Force Radio today. And we are really talking about how to make a difference in your health and wellness. Okay, so now, Doctor, go ahead. You have the floor. Keep talking.
So anyway, the minister is now in his 80s, but he has the strength, the power, and the vitality of a 35-year-old. He's in his 80s.
And he's still doing this work?
Yes, he's still doing his work. But he was one of those that was very serious about my program. Because initially my program was only offered to athletes, not to the general public. But he is not my most exciting case. My most exciting case was when I was working at the Kroc Center. Now, I'm sure some of the people in the radio audience know of this fabulous community center on 119th and Racine, and it's called the Kroc Center. This is a center that the people who created the McDonald's hamburger empire, they created this Kroc Center for our community, and they built 33 of them across the country. It's like a country club in the community. It has a fabulous big facility. It has baseball. It has football with night lights. It has baseball diamonds that's professional. It has basketball courts that the Bulls put their emblem in the floor. And this particular place has computerized basketball nets that can be lowered so that the little children can play bitty ball.
Oh,
where you
that's so
can lower the
nice.
net for the little children, or you can raise the net
Yeah,
for the adults, what have you. It's
yeah.
a block track. The track is a block long around the basketball court where people can come and run around the track and watch the people play basketball below. And it has computers. They have a water park that you would have to go to the Wisconsin Dale to get. They have
Mm.
a 24-foot jacuzzi that pushes you around in the water.
Oh.
So this particular facility wanted to make this facility available to the whole community. And at this facility, the seniors are considered the celebrities. The seniors are treated in such high esteem at this place that the seniors have their own senior suite.
Oh.
And so you got to be a senior to be able to come in there.
Mm.
And they have a window. They have a window right in front of the suite where they can look right across the atrium and see the little babies playing in the water park. They say, look at the
Mm.
little babies playing in the water park. So anyway, these seniors, a lot of them were not in good health. Their health had declined to a degree where some of them were on walkers. They were on a cane. Some of them were in wheelchairs.
Mm-hmm.
So they commissioned me to come in there and work with the seniors who were in the worst shape.
Mm.
So I started a breathing class. I said, for these seniors, we must do a class that is so delicate, so easy, and so comfortable that the seniors could step into it and we can build these seniors and bring them off their canes.
Mm.
So we started a program with them sitting in chairs, Shemsu-t. They would
Okay.
come into the facility, the elevator would bring them up, they would have to make it to the back, and they would have to go get a chair and put it on the floor. And when we first started the class, all we did was 5 breaths. I would have them do inhale, exhale. Very gentle. The breathing was very gentle. Only 5 breaths. And I would ask them to raise their hand to let me know who feel dizzy. Now, what it was telling me, Moot, it was telling me who might have a heart attack on me in a few minutes.
Mm-mm.
Yes, it was telling me that any of these people in my class could stand up and have a heart attack on me. Their breathing was so weak.
Oh, goodness.
Even sitting down, they could have a heart attack because their breathing was so weak. Their heart had become so weak. So after having them do 5 breaths, I would ask who's dizzy. And if they raised a hand, I would say, don't breathe no more. Just breathe
No more.
normal. I say,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to call 911 for not no one in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to call the emergency ambulance because you are endangered. And you can have a heart attack on me just like that. Have you ever noticed, Shemsu-t, when people go to the doctor, that the doctor, when he examined them, he only have them breathe one time? He tells them
Yeah.
to inhale and then exhale, and then he have them to cough only one time. Have you noticed
Mm-hmm.
that?
I have
That
noticed
is
that.
because people who have poor hearts, people who have poor breathing and poor circulation, they could have a heart attack within 3 breaths.
Oh.
That's why they only have them do 1 breath.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the people who would raise a hand when I asked them, did they feel dizzy? I would tell them, don't miss your next class, because the class was twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Do not miss your next class. Our classes are on Monday and Thursday, and you must make both classes every week from now on, because in the future, I will have you breathing as strong as LeBron James. Now,
I
you
bet
know
they
how
love
strong
that.
LeBron James can breathe.
Yes. Yes.
And then I would tell him, without doing all that running up and down the floor. So they start coming to my class. They start coming.
Mm-hmm.
My class is filled up. I had 60, 70, 80 people in my class. They would come and put the chairs on the floor. I had the biggest class in the fitness area. I had the biggest class. It was like rubberized floor with wall-to-wall mirrors and piped in music. The class was wonderful. So
Yeah.
anyway, I graduated these students to be able to breathe 200 breaths.
Wow.
And then I would ask, who's dizzy? Raise your hand if you're dizzy. None of them raised their hands because their
What?
heart had become that much stronger. Just from the breathing, their
Wow.
hearts became, and you know how I could tell how they were improving. I noticed how they could pick their chair up and get their chair back to the rack faster. They could move
Mm-hmm.
faster. Their chairs, they could bring them out to the floor faster. But that was not the most exciting part, Moot. The
What was the
most
most
exciting
exciting?
part was my seniors who were really, really in bad shape. Their breathing was so weak you couldn't even hear them breathe. Their
Mm.
power was so little they could only lift their leg 2 inches off the table. If they were laying on
Mm.
their back, they could only lift one leg 2 inches off the table. They were so weak. And they
Mm-hmm.
were dependent upon the cane and they were moving so slow. They would be the last ones that could come to my class and the last one could leave because they were so weak. So I started working with them, Moot, and I had them come to my clinic on 55th and State.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, you remember my clinic over
I do.
there.
I do. I do remember.
So they
Mm-hmm.
started coming over to my clinic after because I demonstrated in the class. I brought my table to the class, Moot, and I put them on my table and I did my needleless needle. Now, I'm the only African American in the whole country that does needleless needle acupuncture. I
Mm.
do acupuncture, but I do a needleless needle. You felt it before, Moot, with my
Oh
little instrument.
man. Yes,
And
yes.
so I would do needleless needle on them, and I was bringing their power up. Do you know, Moot, within a short period of time, after working with them and having them change their eating and get them the alkaline water machine, do you know that they could eventually bring their legs up like a 25-year-old? Not
Wow.
just bring them up, but had the strength of a 25-year-old.
That's amazing.
And on top of all of that, the most exciting part, they didn't need to use their canes anymore. They were
Oh
walking like a
man.
30-year-old. In fact,
What?
they would say, I tell my grandchildren now, if they don't keep up with me, I'm gonna have to leave them. They're moving too slow.
That's a nice compliment.
Yes, yes. So one of them, she was so exciting. I would have them come from the back of the class to the
Mm-hmm.
front because at
Right.
first they were so weak they could only come and sit down in the class because they didn't have no power. So
Mm.
then the one of them, she gave me a card. She was so thankful. She gave me a card. She
Mm.
said, "Thank you for restoring a T model Ford." Now,
Ooh.
anybody know what a T model Ford is? That's a car that's been around over 122 years. And
Wow.
that car is in immaculate shape. So she's
Mm-hmm.
saying, I have brought immaculate shape back to her just by
Oh.
getting on my table and just by me connecting her to the powers of her breath and turning her power on with the needleless acupuncture needle. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
most exciting part was at first when they came, they could only come and sit in the chair. They were so weak. But after
Mm-hmm.
they started getting their power, I invited them to my Tai Chi class
They took Tai Chi too.
because they were
Wow.
improving, Moot. They were improving.
Yes.
They could
Yes.
stand now. They could stand. They had power. So when they first
Yes.
came to the Tai Chi class, they would stand kind of around on the wall, because they were like the new kids on the block. Even though in
Mm.
my Tai Chi class, it was the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds, the 70-year-olds, the 80-year-olds, the 90-year-olds, like in China. Like in China.
Mm-hmm.
In China,
Mm-hmm.
the seniors do Tai Chi every day. So the seniors are in great shape. In fact, I went to China when I was
Yeah.
55 and I was doing Tai Chi with 95-year-olds. And the
Wow.
95-year-olds, they was moving so graceful like 20-year-olds, like ballet
Mm.
students. They were moving so graceful. And they were their internal power was so strong that after we finished the Tai Chi, they came out with what's called the Tai Chi Fan. And that's a fan that as you move with this fan, you get to a certain point and you flick your wrist and the fan's supposed to snap close, showing the power of your chi.
Yes.
And then when you get to a certain other movement, you're supposed to flip your wrist and the fan's supposed to snap open, showing the power of your chi. And so then after we did the Tai Chi Fan, then they came out with the Tai Chi Sword. And the Tai Chi Sword was a sword that as you was moving through your movements, you would flip your wrist and the sword would spring open. And then as you would move to your other moves and you go into another move and you flip your wrist, the sword's supposed to snap back close.
Wow.
Spring back close.
Yes,
So anyway,
yes.
I brought these secrets to the elders over at the Croc Center. And so my classes were full. My seniors were coming off their canes and coming out of their wheelchairs and having the vitality of a 30-year-old again.
That's beautiful. That is
so
beautiful.
the secrets that I learned from the Swami, and then the secrets that I learned from my teachers in Tucson, Arizona, because in Tucson, Arizona, my teacher wheeled in the people in wheelchairs. He had about 20 people in wheelchairs that he was going to teach us how to bring their power back so that they could walk again. One of them, she had been in a wheelchair for 20 years. He said, we'll get them walking again with the powers of the secrets of the breath that we know and the secrets of the needleless acupuncture. We can get them walking again. So, you know, that was very exciting to see, Moot, because he had 12 students. He had 12 students from all over the world. One student was from Canada, and she had the secret of the crystals. And then another student, he was from Las Vegas, and he had the secrets of the magnets. And then another student had came from Mexico, and he had the secrets of the polarity sticks. And then another student had came from Nigeria, and he had the secret of the Wu power.
Wow.
And so these different people that came, they were all exceptional healers.
Yes.
And then there was this one Hispanic. He had secrets. He had some secrets, and so all of us showed up. And the teacher would bring in these students he'd bring in these people every day in wheelchairs. And he said, now, when you all go back to your clinics, you have to do my techniques every day. He said, there will be some people that will come to you that will be in wheelchairs and use my secrets to bring them out of their wheelchairs. So guess what happened, Moot?
What?
I got a patient who was in a wheelchair who came to me. 22 years old, Moot. Who had been shot. He'd been shot and the bullet pierced his spine and paralyzed him. 22 years old in a wheelchair. And guess what? The bullet was still in his spine.
Oh, no.
Yes. The bullet was in his spine. His father was the popo. His father was a Chicago policeman. And so they had heard about me and they brought him to me. And so he had not walked in 2 years. So he was in the program over at Northwestern Hospital. He was in their walking program. They were trying to get him to walk, Moot. Do you know they gave up on him and told him they couldn't help him? They wouldn't see him as a patient no more. They say, we can't help you. Your paralysis is forever. You're going to be paralyzed. We can't do anything else to help you.
Oh, my goodness.
So when his parents brought him to me, I felt his legs and his feet. They were cold as ice. There was no power coming down into his legs. His legs were nothing. There was no strength at all, Moot. But my teacher taught me the secrets. And so I started activating the secrets to his power. Do you know, after he started seeing me, after about 7 or 8 times, I could find 1/4 of an ounce of strength.
Mm.
1/4 of an ounce. I found strength in his legs, Moot.
That was exciting.
1/4 of an ounce. Don't seem like a lot,
But
but it
that's
was
something.
more than enough for us to get busy.
That's right.
And I
That's
started
right.
seeing him 3 times a week and bringing out my needle and working the different meridian points on his body, bringing his power up.
Mm.
Do you know his power started to come up?
Mm.
But that's not the most exciting part, Moot.
What's the most exciting?
The most exciting part is that the bullet was in his spine started to move. The bullet started to come out of his spine, Moot.
Come out?
Like O-U-T, out.
Oh.
The bullet started moving. As his power got stronger, it started pushing the bullet out of his body.
Mm.
So he was coming in 3 times a week, every week, and I could tell as he was getting stronger, his disposition, because he was very depressed young man, having been in a wheelchair and been shot and felt so victimized being in a wheelchair for 2 years and couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I started working every week. Do you know one day he came in and the bullet was pushing out of the side of his body?
Was it painful?
No, it wasn't painful. It was like poking out. It's pushing against the skin. He
Yeah,
said,
like
Dr. like it's trying to push out.
Yes.
Yeah. He said, Dr. Hapi, what is this? I said, I don't know. I said, but it's pushing against your skin like it's trying to come out. It's pushing against your skin. The next time he came to me, the bullet had pushed all the way out of his body. He had it in a jar, the bullet.
What?
The bullet was in a jar. He brought the bullet to me. The bullet was in the jar, came all the way out of his body, out of his spine. His parents were so excited. They were so excited. So anyway, I kept working with him, Moot.
Mm.
After about 6 months, I sent him back to Northwestern. I say, you need to take him back over there for a reevaluation. I said, just because they were not able to help you, I have seen your progress. And I want to see if you are qualified for the walking program now. They sent him over there. The orthopedic doctors and the neurologists re-examined him. And do you know he was strong enough to be put into the walking program?
Oh my goodness. Yes,
They started him walking. They started him walking 100 steps. No, you didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. They had him started walking 100 steps. They created polio braces, these polio crutches, polio crutches.
Yes,
you know,
yes, yes.
And they built a brace for his ankle, like a polio person who had polio. They built a brace for
to
his
give him
ankle,
strength, support.
To give his ankle support and what have you, and started him in 100-step walking program.
Oh, Doug.
He was so grateful, so excited, so excited.
Oh, that is phenomenal.
So I have seen some miracles with the work that I do, but my most exciting times is working with the seniors, Moot, because when we look at them, the medical people have given up on them. The medical people say, oh, they're in bad shape, just write them off. You know, they're not going to get no better, you know, and they send occupational therapists to their house. Teach them how to be able to use devices where they're not going to get better. So then we just have them substitute being handicapped. Show them how to use the handicap stuff, since they're going to be handicapped from now on.
Yeah.
We say no. We say no. We say when the breath has power again, power can come back to the body. And we've seen that power, Moot.
Yes.
We've seen how that power can come back to the body and bring the body back to a level it's never been in that person's life. Just like this one case I had, Moot. This person, he came to me, he had a stroke. So he came into my clinic dragging his leg because he couldn't walk normally because the stroke had paralyzed him. He was dragging his leg. He had severe headaches too, severe headaches. He was dragging his leg. And so I told him, I said, now, I would love to help you. And based on what I see, you have great potential. I say, not only can you walk normal again, but you can live a long, long time. He was 59, Moot. And so he started coming to see me, Moot. This is when I had my clinic down on Michigan Avenue. He started coming to see me, Moot. And I would bring out my needleless acupuncture and I would work with him. Now, I did have to have him do breathing, though. I had to have him do some breathing. And I would work on, do you know we got him where he could walk normal again, Moot?
Wow.
He would always say, the great Dr. Hapi. He would be so excited.
Now, listen, Doc, I didn't let you talk so much that now we only have a few, just less than 30 minutes for you to tell us the 7 pillars of health.
Oh, wow.
Can
Well,
you do
time do
that?
be on the move when you're having a good time. Time be on the move. So,
Yes.
so let me end that. Let me end that with this one patient. So
Yeah.
he got better. He got better, and he followed my instructions. But then he got a new girlfriend, and she smoked cigarettes. Yeah, she smoked cigarettes, and she ate poorly, and he became paralyzed. And so then I started working with him again, and we brought him back to walking again.
Oh my goodness.
And so now he's in his 80s. He lives with his daughter in Las Vegas now. He's in his 80s, but he's made it to his 80s. So anyway, let's all I'm saying is the body has a potential if you know how to connect to the power. And you can get older people better and back to where they were, and you can get younger people better, and you can get young people who have been shot and who are paralyzed, you can get them better. And I've seen all kind of cases and I've seen all kind of miracles.
Yes.
So, but anyway, let's talk about the 7 pillars.
Let's talk.
So what I promote is there are 7 pillars that we have to embrace. And these 7 pillars will enhance our health and give us a greater quality of life. The first pillar is the pillar that we all should step into. And this is the pillar of prayers and meditation. Now, prayers, a lot of people don't believe in prayers, and some people do believe in prayers. And a lot of churches, they have people praying every day. And of a lot of these churches, you see a lot of sick people in their mood.
Yes.
The prayers are not being answered. A lot of sick people on a bunch of medications. The prayers by itself are not being answered. And so we embrace prayers, because I have seen some miracles. When I was young, when I was about 8 years old, my grandmother was evangelist, not evangelist, but she was in a sanctified church. She was in a tabernacle. So when she would come here from Louisiana, she would come to this tabernacle on the west side, and they would have healing services.
Yes.
And so they had this one healer. He was one of the bishops his name was Shambach. And they would come there, they would be on their canes, on their crutches, and in their wheelchairs. And I saw with my own eyes him bring the power back into them for them to walk again. And so it allowed me to really have an understanding that we do have a connection to God. We have a connection to the Creator. And we must call upon that connection, because that connection has more power than we recognize.
Yes.
And my grandmother, she dwelled in it. She dwelled deep in it, Mooch. She was so deep in it that all my aunties were sanctified, and my mother. And I would see my aunties every time I was bad. Every time I'd be bad, they'd send me to my aunties. And my aunties would have me on my knees praying. And then I say, Auntie, when can I get off my knees? After you've done 1,000 thank you, Jesuses, you can get off your knees.
Oh my goodness.
They say, or you can get off your knees if you shout. If you shout, you can get off your knees right away. Well, I never got that feeling of the shout coming up on me. So
Okay.
I was destined to 10,000. Thank you, Jesus. This is before I could get up out of there. Every time I got bad. So that made me real good, real quick again. I like, no, I don't want to go to my auntie's church. No, I don't want to go there. Well, you gonna go there if you be bad again. That's gonna be your punishment.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So anyway, prayers are very powerful. And then
Yes.
meditation. Oh, we cannot say enough about meditation. The average person do
Mm-hmm.
not know what meditation is. They've
That's
heard
right.
the word, but the word of meditation is so powerful because meditation is actually the first level of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation, meta means internal active activity. And so
Mm.
meditation is the first level of medicine where you learn breathing. You learn breathing patterns in meditation. So when you
Mm-hmm.
learn these breathing patterns, they change the brain wave. The brain has four different brain waves. One of the
Mm-hmm.
brain waves is called alpha, beta, theta, and delta. And
Mm-hmm.
these four brain waves, they allow the brain to be actively woke or very deeply sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But when a person learns meditation, they learn how to be sleep, but woke while you sleep.
Yeah.
And while you're woke while you're asleep, you change your brain wave to what we call alpha. And alpha is a brain wave that operates at a 7 to 13 hertz electrically. And this
Mm-hmm.
particular brain wave, you can heal yourself in this brain wave. In this brain wave, you can heal yourself from cancer. You can lower your blood pressure. You can have your pancreas work better. You can restore your kidneys. You can balance out your pH from your acid and alkaline pH, and you can actually heal yourself in this alpha state. When people go to sleep, they're trying to get to the alpha state. But because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many nightmares in a lot of people's lives from the daily lives they live, they are so socially depressed and disturbed, irritated, aggravated, and creating anxiety that they can't go to sleep. So when you
Yeah.
can't go to sleep, you can't change your brain wave, so you cannot heal unless you can move your brain wave to an alpha level. And in that
Mm.
brain wave, you become very peaceful, very
Yes.
relaxed, but very focused. Your mind actually moves to a higher level where your ability to concentrate becomes even greater. And so in this meditation, which I practiced when I was in school becoming a doctor, you're able to go over so much in your mind. You're able to distinguish your emotional thoughts in your mind and to settle your emotional thoughts so that you take the stress off your mind of the emotions, of the
Mm.
anger and of the worry, of the hostility and of the depression and of the
Mm-hmm.
sorrow and of the melancholy. All of them leave like clouds leaving from a rain
Mm-hmm.
thunderstorm where it brings
Mm-hmm.
like sunlight and a vibrant day back to you. And so
Wow.
the meditation is so powerful. So every day, people need to know how to meditate.
Uh-oh.
Everybody needs to know how to
Every
meditate.
day. Okay. Go
Every
ahead to
day.
number two, Doc. I'm with you on that
Okay,
meditation.
but let me finish
Number
number one.
two.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Doc.
anyway, okay, so number two, well, number one, we also have relaxation and breathing.
Okay.
The breathing ties in with the meditation. But
Yes.
number two, we need water. We need the proper water. Now,
Mm-hmm.
most of us do not drink the proper water. Most of us drink the water from the faucets, which has chlorine, which is bad for the heart. The proper
Mm.
water is alkaline water. Young people have been hearing about the alkaline water. And the alkaline water helps to move the acid out of the body. The acid comes from all the processed foods we eat. And the acid is one of the things that helps to create cancer.
Mm.
So when we deal with the alkaline water, it is the second level of alkalinity. The first level of alkalinity is in our breathing. When we breathe correctly, we neutralize and detoxify acid in our blood. And so alkaline water should be the kind of water that we drink. Most people drink alkaline water from the store out of the bottles. That water is not the highest alkaline water because real alkaline water works like vegetable juice. It is very potent and it starts to decrease its power and its vitality within 3 days. Real alkaline water. So if you are drinking alkaline water, you need it from a machine, and the machine brings and makes that alkaline water from your tap. It changes the hydrogen from a positive hydrogen to a negative hydrogen, and that negative hydrogen pushes the acid out of the body, charges the cells, and increases the oxygen in the blood cells, making them more richer and vital, helping to make the organs and the systems more vital, and making the body more vital, where the body feels more vitalized and alive. The next one
Number
you
3.
need to know about is you need to know about the foods that we eat. Well, most of us eat devitalized foods, processed foods that give us the diseases, the diseases. And when we get disease, we go to the medical doctor and they give us a bunch of medicines that still do not correct us. And now our bodies start to decline more and more, where our bodies start to break down and have greater symptoms. And then they intensify the medicines, which all medicines have side effects, which then creates some more problems, which then give you some more medicines, which is why the average senior, by the time they're 60 years old, they're on 5 to 13 medicines.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, in the foods, we also need to learn about nutrition. We need to learn about the vitamins that we might need, because our bodies might be deficient in some vitamins that's causing our symptoms. Or we might need minerals, or we might need certain foods that we would eat to help our bodies come back into balance. Now, the balance that our bodies come back into, we call it the 5 elements. The 5 elements are air, fire, water, earth, and metal. When our bodies are out of balance with too much earth, we're going to be too acidic, and we're going to have a lot of inflammation. When we are too earthy, we wipe out the water, the air, and we wipe out the fire. And we wipe them out so bad. That's why when the COVID came and you saw all the people in the nursing homes who had to go into the hospitals and be put on the ventilation machine, because they had eliminated their fire and water and their air, and they were too earthy. And the earth itself creates dampness in the lungs, and the dampness fills the lungs up, and then the person has to be put on the ventilator because the lungs are drowning them. But we don't see it with the athletes, because the athletes, by running, they're building up the breath, and the breath is building up the fire, and it's building up the fire that then needs you to consume the water that moves the earth. So when the athletes get the COVID, you don't hear none of them going to the hospital, because they don't create symptoms, because their elements are in balance. So with our nutrition, we have to then learn about the 5 elements that it needs to be in balance to keep us well. Nobody is talking about the 5 elements. But in China, they know about the 5 elements. If you come into a room and you're coughing, they all know that you need the element of hot. Well, how does that show up? The elements of hot is your cayenne pepper, your ginger, your garlic, your onions. All of those are fire elements. And the Chinese and the Thai people have a soup called tom yum soup. They call it spicy, but it's really the hot element. And in there's broth. Well, when we get the COVID, they be telling us eat chicken noodle soup. Well, chicken noodle do not have any fire in it unless you put fire in it directly. But we're saying, no, you need the fire itself. And then when you take that along with other fires from your oregano oil, from your olive leaf, from your mushrooms, all of these, from your vitamin C. Well, what is vitamin C? Where do it come from? It comes from your oranges and your lemons. Well, what color are they? Orange. Well, what color is the sun? Orange. That's your fire. You need fire to bring the balance back so you can get your breath back so that you can then come out the COVID, but more than that, not go into the COVID. So I've created a system called the Preventilator. Now, we're into the breathing now. Shemsu-t. In the breathing, I've created a technique called the Preventilator. Now, the Preventilator make your lungs so strong that if the COVID came upon you, it would not create any symptoms, and you would not have to be put on the ventilator, because only 1 out of 3 people come out of the ventilator. 2 of them are going to go to the morgue. I had a 75-year-old come see me. He had got the COVID. Moot, but he had been put into my Preventilator program. Do you know when he got the COVID, he didn't have to be put on the ventilator? He didn't even hardly have any symptoms of the COVID because we had strengthened his lungs, because the breathing has a mechanical power and it has a electrical power and it has a physical power and it has a mental power. And when we do the meditation, we're cultivating the mental power. And when we're doing the breathing of the preventilator, we're doing the physical power so that we can keep the solar generator charged up. In the middle of our body, they have what's called a solar generator. The solar generator heats up the blood. That's what you see LeBron James and them when they running up and down court. Stephen Curry, you see their blood heat up because every time they sit down, they got to put a towel over them. And the towel is because they're sweating to cool the blood off. And when the blood is hot, the microbes cannot live in hot blood. So we created a program called the Preventilator. And when the people come to us and they get into these sessions, within 10 breaths, we can make them break a sweat without running one step, And so anyway, that's our breathing. So then the next thing you need to know exercise. We should do exercise every day. Well, what kind of exercise should we do? Well, the basic exercise is walking. We can all do that. We should be doing it every day. Well, what else should we do? We should be doing yoga and Tai Chi. Tai Chi is for the elders. Yoga is for the young people, but yoga can be done with older people too. Well, what else should we be doing? We should be dealing with weights. Exercise with weights. And what else should we be doing? We should be doing Pilates. That is a form of yoga where you utilize machines and stuff, and you bring flexibility and strength to your muscles with different machines. What else should we be doing? We should be doing aerobics. We should be doing all of this. And so we all need exercise every day. Well, what else do we need? Well, we also need rest. Well, what kind of rest? We need sleep. Well, can you sleep? If you can't close your eyes and go to sleep because your brain is too active, no, that's why you need meditation. But what else could you use to go to sleep? You can use certain oils like lavender. You put some lavender drops on your pillow. You put some lavender in your bath water with some Epsom salt flakes or with some magnesium flakes, and it will relax you. Where when you go to bed, you can sleep like a baby. And you can change your brainwave and go into that alpha brainwave. Only in sleep can you heal, can you restore. And what we notice with seniors, as they become more out of balance, they can't sleep. They have insomnia, which means they cannot heal. So one must incorporate all of the 7 principles, all of the 7 pillars. And one of the last ones beyond the rest is they have to get some sunshine. Now, the sunshine should be every day. They should spend at least 20 minutes in the sun. They should walk on the grass barefooted. They will create an electrical charge coming through their bodies by walking on the grass. It's called grounding, and it pulls the negative energy out of your body. And then when you're in the sun, you're pulling the vitamin D, but more than the vitamin D, you are pulling ionic electrical rays from the sun that's in your breathing. And so while you're in this breathing, you need fresh air. Fresh air will help to electrify the cells in your body along with the sunshine, along with the ionic energy, and cause your body to vitalize your blood cells. And when your blood cells have that fresh oxygen, you have just by itself the opportunity that you can live to 100. If you just got fresh air. I know one of my patients, she lived in a house that had mold in the bathroom. And she was breathing the mold in. And by breathing in the mold, she wasn't getting the fresh air. The mold killed her. It went into her lungs and killed her, stopped her heart. She couldn't breathe because of the mold. So we must be careful in these houses, careful in the bathroom. If you see black up around your walls in the bathroom, that's mold. Do not breathe that mold. Tell the landlord to fix that problem, because you can breathe that mold into your lungs and it creates an infection that gives you the pneumonia and take you out of here. So these 7 pillars, and along with the food, we should have an organic plant-based diet, not a bunch of meat, not a bunch of cheese, because cheese causes prostate problems for men. It causes female problems for the woman. And as we get older, we eat all this cheese. If you look at the Chinese, they don't even have any cheese recipes in their diet. If you look at the Chinese, you see so many old people because they're living a long life doing the Tai Chi and becoming more vital and eating a more vital diet. So we must become like the Chinese with the Tai Chi. We must become like the Indians when we're young with the yoga. We must become like the Japanese who created the alkaline water machines, and now they're living to 100 years old, and they got bombed with the atomic bomb that killed millions of them with radiation. Their food was destroyed. Their water was destroyed. They couldn't grow food because of the radiation on the food. So they had to recycle their land so that they became the first organic people on this planet. They had to go around the world to find the water that was the most vital and make a machine that could create that water for their people. They have that water in their hospitals as special medicine. They have it in their restaurants where all the people drink that water, and they have it in their kitchens, the water machine, where all of their people have now revitalized and they're living to 100, but their bodies are like 40 years old well. So we have big work in front of us. And if we take on this journey, become a seeker like myself, learn the ways to make your body vital, healthy, and strong again, and learn the secrets of this most vital breath. Learn how as an elder and as an older person, you can become young one more time. You can become vital one more time, and the power can become greater than you've ever experienced. Don't let me get started.
Dr. Hapi. Don't, well, listen, let me take a station break. Just hold on a minute, because you're getting everybody fired up, okay? You are listening to WBRO Soul. This is Master Force Radio with your host Shemsu-t, and maybe we have been talking to Dr. Hapi, and he has us on fire about our health. And I hope that you are getting just as much notes. I have 3 pages of notes, and we still have some time to go. So, Dr. Hapi, let me make sure that I have this. The 7 pillars of hope, of health, are prayers and meditation, and that also includes relaxation, right? And then the second one,
breathing for the mental. You're breathing for the mental now with the meditation.
Okay.
You're breathing to bring the 4 balances of the brain waves back into balance so you can rest and recharge yourself and recharge your chakras, recharge your circuits so your body can continue to be healing.
Right. And then we had proper water, and you talked about the alkaline water and the importance of us making sure that we bring alkalinity into our body. And then the third one was nutrition, high quality nutrition, and vitamins, and supplements, and minerals, plant-based,
and vitamins and minerals. That's right.
Vitamins and minerals, and then
because
the fourth
why
one
we have a lot of problems. We're deficient. That's why we have a lot of problems. We're deficient.
And then breathing, and there's so much we could do a whole session on breathing.
We call the physical breathing turning on the wind generator. We call breathing a generator, just like you have a car, and it is the generator that keeps the battery charged. So if the generator breaks down, the battery won't hold the charge, and when you get to the next point, the car will not start up. So the breathing is an alternating generator. It generates power in, and it generates negative ions out. And so the generator is breaking down on us. That's what's happening. And as the generator, the breath generator, the wind generator break down on us, we become faulty. We start breaking down. And the COVID has shown that quite well. When the people get the COVID, especially when it ran as a rampage through the nursing homes, and you had so many people coming out of there. Well, how many times do the doctor have them breathe? Breathe 1 time. Let me hear you inhale. Let me hear you exhale. Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. So how can that be enough of that if that is the most important system of the body? The breath is the most important system. 3 minutes without it, you are not existing. So it is the most powerful system. It is the generator of electricity in our bodies. It is what animates us. And when you see the seniors and you see them barely breathing, that means the generator is now winding down. And as the generator winds down, our health winds down. Our physical systems wind down. Our bodies start winding down. We start breaking down. So what I've seen in my healing art, in my healing experience, when you wind this wind generator up, you can see all kind of miracles. You can see all kind of Old people come young again. You can see all kind of people become more vital than they've ever been. I state this, Moot. When they diagnosed me with the sarcoidosis, I had an incurable disease. I was supposed to be dead by 50, but now I can breathe 5 times greater than when I was 20. I can breathe better than any athlete I've ever seen, and I've seen some of the best of them. And I will be 73 years young this year.
Yes.
So all I'm saying, if breathing is the power, and as your breathing gets stronger, your vitality gets stronger, then as you get older, instead of getting more weaker and losing power, you can gain more power than you've ever had.
Yes. But wait, Doc, number 5 was exercise. And the only
That's
one
right.
that you didn't include that I love is swimming. So you said
Oh, wait a
walking,
minute,
yoga, Tai Chi, weights, Pilates.
wait, hold on. Let me put swimming up there with the Tai Chi and the yoga. I
Yes.
love swimming. When I get in the water, I swim like a shark. I be moving through the water so smooth. I be stroking through the water. You see like a knife moving through the water. Now, the
Okay.
swimming, the only bad side of the swimming, it has chlorine in the water. That's the bad
Yes.
side. But the good side, swimming is a wonderful therapy because it allows you to be flexible while you are gaining tone to the muscles. And if you're in the water, you can do water aerobics if you do nothing else. So those of you who are seniors who are not doing any kind of exercise, join a water aerobic class. There's no stress on your joints, and it's very therapeutic to your body also. So swimming is very, very therapeutic. And I say everybody, if they should be doing yoga, Tai Chi, swimming, and then doing a little weight training and doing a bunch of walking. And I know some 80 and 90-year-olds that hang with me. They will outbreathe their grandchildren. In fact, Mood, I had one of my 88-year-olds, and I took her to this party, and there was a trainer. He was a trainer, a weight trainer, where he trained how to lift 200-300 pounds. I put her on the table and I had her breathe. She was 88 and she could, you know how I can breathe, Moot.
Yeah.
She could go like me. In fact, I celebrated her birthday yesterday. I took her a card and the flowers yesterday. She could breathe as good as me, Moot. Anyway, but she didn't start like that. But that's how she is now. I took her over there and then I put the weight trainer on the table. I say, let me see how you breathe. Well, she had ran 945 breaths before her power went out. He did 40 breaths and his power went out.
Wow.
He was only 40. She was 88.
Okay.
He was so embarrassed because he had been talking about me. He had been telling his auntie, you don't need no breathing. What is that breathing? You need to lift these weights and do what I do. When I finished with him, his leg went down like a wet noodle. He said, Dr. Hapi, I humbly apologize to you for thinking that the breathing you was doing was what I was doing. He said, I see that your breathing system is so superior to what I'm doing. He said, I will never speak of your system as being inferior to my system. In fact, I will send everybody you first because I know when they come back to me, they'll be able to handle the strength that I put up on them with the weights because they'll have the powers of the breath.
Yep. All right, Doc.
So
So
anyway,
the last two, last two were the number 6 was rest and sleep, and then number 7 was sunshine.
That's right. And we ended with sunshine, and we said, while you're in the sunshine, take your shoes off. Walk in the grass barefooted so that you can create an electrical charge. I'm sure some people have walked in a room on the carpet and they touched the light and they felt a shock. That's the electrical charge that comes to our bodies from walking on surfaces. Grass is the most natural surface that we pull magnetism. We pull electrical magnetism from the earth because we are electrical and we are a magnetic being. And so what happens is start charging up the body so the body feel better. And then if we're in that sunshine with that fresh air, walking on that ground, we are electrifying the body so the body can feel better when we come out of the sun. We shouldn't be in the sun too long, but it only take about 15, 20 minutes. Make sure you have your hat on a day that's too hot out there. Make sure you have your hat on so it protect you from the sun being on you too directly, and go out there when the sun in the daytime, in the morning, when there's more fresh air, not at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, but at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when the sun first comes up.
Okay, very cool. Thank you so much, Dr. Hapi. You know, you have given us a lot to think about, and we still have a few more minutes. So I really wanted to, just allow you some time to talk about a couple of special projects that you have. Would you like to spend some time sharing your special projects with my audience, just in case they're interested, or
Are
would you
you
like
talking about the project dealing with the trading?
Yes.
Oh, I would love to. Now, that is something very special because what we're looking at is that we're in a society right now that inflation is upon us. Everything is costing more and the salary is not keeping up with it. And we're seeing gas prices, $6, $7 a gallon. And this is outrageous. We've never seen prices like this before. But where we are right now, we have to have a vehicle to help us grow out of that. And so what I have now done, I've created an academy. And at this academy, you can come and learn how.
I believe you've muted yourself. There you go.
Me now.
Okay, that's better, Doc.
I say you can learn how to trade like traders who trade for the banks. The banks have a system whereby when we put our money in the banks to save our money, the banks give us 1%, but they have traders come in and trade our money and grow them thousands of percent on our money that they don't have to give us any of it. So we created a free trading program that normally would cost you $10,000. This trading program is free. And normally we teach the ages from 10 to 82 years old. Our main group that we're trying to teach is from 14 to 21 years old, because in that group, the young people know how to use computers and they know how to use cell phones. So the young people know how to go on Facebook and Twitter and Telegram, and they know how to go on Instagram and all that. They learn how to use websites pretty easy. So we teach them how to use the websites and how to trade. And we have trading classes that they can take every week. They can get in touch with me. My email address is A for Apple, N for Natural, H for Hapi. So that's ANH 1821 at gmail.com. ANH, A for Apple, N for Natural, and H for Hapi, 1821 at gmail.com. Now, the academy that we created, the teacher who teaches that in the academy, he's a master teacher, and he was taught by an academy that we mentored him to go and learn at, which was in London. In that academy, he learned from a Hispanic that in 3 years took $1,000 and grew it to 25 million. $1,000 in 3 years, he grew it to 25 million, and he has 400,000 Hispanics in his class every day. That Hispanic, he has learned all of his knowledge, and then that Hispanic taught a young white man, and he had grown an account of $1,000 into 12,000 plus 3 other accounts in 3 years. He has about 350,000 white boys and girls in his class every day. They pay about $200 a month for those classes to learn this knowledge. We have made this knowledge available to our community for free. We'll be doing another class in September, so those who are interested can come to the class in September. Our website is called Maz, like amazing, maze. It's like amazing, but instead of a maze, we say maze for short. M-A-Z, like young people always like stuff abbreviated. Maze Trading Institute. Maze Trading Institute, you go there and you can register. You can register for the class. You can register for the next class that will be coming in September, or you can be taking this class on Tuesday. We started a class. We have our videos on the website that you can go and catch up with the class, because they've been through about 4 classes now, where the videos are on the website so you can look at those videos and catch up with the class. We also have the videos of certain websites like TradingView, where you learn how to analyze the trades. You learn how to be able to look at the market and be able to know which way is going to go up or down. And you'll be able to trade. What you're trading is currencies, different currencies, one country against the other. So you go to other websites and you learn which currency is the strongest and which currency should go up, which currency should go down. And you learn all of this as you come into this class every week. Now, the master teacher, he gave up $150,000 a year job. He used to work at Apple. He gave that job up to learn this knowledge because this knowledge is very powerful. We find that the young people within 3 to 5 years, if they learn this knowledge and start trading, that within 3 to 5 years, they could be a millionaire. But they have to apply themselves. Like anything and all things, when you go to school, the students who are the best are always the students who come out the best. So you have to apply yourself to this because we say this one class is like going to school. It's like learning a career because everybody who go to school to go to college, they have to learn something else to then learn how to make money. They got to learn something else. They got to get a degree in something else to get a salary. But when you learn this knowledge, you're learning how to just make money itself. You're not learning something else. So we consider this the most important knowledge for our community. All of us need to know it. The young people, when they learn it, they can grow a family out of poverty. And what we're going to be seeing as we see the cost of everything going up, we're going to see families going into more poverty. As they go into more poverty, we're going to see the streets becoming more desperate. We're going to see the young people carjacking more. We're going to see more violence in the street more. We're going to see them breaking into retail stores more, stealing Gucci purses and gym shoes and all kind of stuff because they're in a desperate mode to survive. So we need to teach our young people this knowledge so they can call their cousins the bad boys to come over here to learn how to grow your money so you don't need the bank, you can grow it yourself. And that on top of that, you can grow your family out of poverty into prosperity because there's going to be more families going into poverty as the cost of the essentials, which is gasoline, electricity, and heating and food. Those are essentials. We're going to see them go up more and more faster than the paycheck. So people are going to be doing desperate things. And we say we have a way for them to not have to do that. We say, well, what other options do they have? Well, they could go to the casinos. Well, how does that work for them? 1 out of 100 people, you hear the bell ring, that means 99 are losing. They can go and buy lottery tickets. Well, how that work for them? Well, you got 6 million standing in line, but only one person gonna win the Powerball. Only one person gonna win the Monster Ball. That's 5,999,000 that's gonna be losing. So we got the banks, we got the lottery, and we got the casinos, and they're all bleeding us dry. So if you can only make 1%, but the bank gonna charge you 16 to 32% on your credit card, you're bleeding. So if you continue to bleed, you will be in the poorhouse. And that's why they talk about the division between the rich and the poor. Well, we're saying we don't want to be poor, but at the same time, we don't want the problems in our community. We don't want the carjacking. We don't want the shootings in our community. We don't want the desperation in our community. So we have to have a solution. So this is the solution we came up with. We're going to teach our people the knowledge that the traders use to trade our money in the banks for the bankers. And so we want to extend this to our community. How much does it cost? It is free. And so we're making that available. And those students that come to the class, and be serious about this, because with this knowledge, you can change your life and change your family's life and teach it to the rest of your family, and everybody will prosper. And we will see our community prosper back up because we'll have the knowledge they never wanted us to have. You never see too many young black people on Wall Street driving their Maseratis and living in their $1 million house by the time they're 30 years old. You don't see too many of them because this is a closed system. It's a closed opportunity. This is the old boys club. They're not trying to let us in on this knowledge. But Trump's children know about this knowledge, but he had to pay $200,000 to send his children to the business Wharton school to get this knowledge. Well, people don't have no $200,000, but they can have this knowledge if we can get it to them. And now we got the knowledge. And now we're ready to bring it to our community. So we're saying, join in, come in, become a seeker of your health and your prosperity. Become a seeker, because if you are not a seeker, you will be a victim. You'll be a victim of your health and you'll suffer greatly. You'll be a victim of your prosperity and you will suffer even more greatly. And that will cause you depression, where the seniors will have to work at Walmart for $8 an hour after they didn't quit greeting people. We don't have to do this. We don't have to have them do this. Let our young people grow us out of poverty into prosperity. And so that's why we make this available more than anyone to our 14 and 21-year-olds. And so that's what I'm sharing. And that's what I'm saying. We all need to embrace, because we have not even seen the tsunami. When the gasoline gets to $10 a gallon, and it's coming, and you don't have $3 extra, not by Thursday, but by Tuesday, because you didn't have enough money to get from Friday to Monday, because everything went up except your paycheck, then this is the vehicle that we have to rescue you. So with that, I want to definitely thank you, Moot, for letting me speak about this very important subject, and that is the prosperity. We need the knowledge of health and the knowledge of prosperity, and we have neither. So we are sick, we are broke, and we're broke down. We're sick, broke down, and broke. We're suffering to a great degree on the two most important subjects that neither one do they teach about to us in school.
That's right, Doc. I just want to piggyback on what you said about the trading, because it was something that you started encouraging me about a year ago. And I did take the class. I love the class. I love trading. I do consider myself a trader, which is like,
you done learned stuff. You done learned enough. You done learned enough to know that you know more than what the average person knows.
Yes, and it's exciting.
The average person has a 401k. They work a job. They might have a little retirement program, but they don't recognize that every 10 years or so, the market is going to crash. That's where we are now. And their 401k going to lose 70 to 80% of his money. And when they get ready to retire, if they had $1 million account, it then drop down to 200,000, they're not going to be able to make it back. So they're going to be living a very poor existence, because they would depend on somebody else to grow their money for them.
Yes, yes. So I'm grateful. And I was sharing some of the things that I've learned with my son, who has been trading for many years. And he was like, I am so impressed. And that made me feel really good.
Oh, excellent. 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 Well, you've been a good student, Moot. You've been a good student.
Yes, yes. I enjoy it.
And we got some more. We got some more waiting for you, Moot. We got some more that's better than what you done seen already.
Yes, well, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm grateful that you have really, it means a lot to me that you would make time, because I know how busy your schedule is. And
Quite
so
busy,
for you
Moot.
to take, I know, and it matters to me that you took time out today to share with my listening audience. And I hope they got as much out of it as I did. And I'm just grateful that you are in my circle of influence, because you definitely keep me inspired and healthy. And whenever I talk to you, the first thing you want to know is, are you doing your breaths?
That's right. Are you turning up the generator?
Yes, yes. So thank you. And is there anything that you're doing now? So you told people to reach you on the website, right? MazeTradingInstitute.com.
That's correct. That's right. They can register. They can register for the class.
Okay.
Yes, and the earlier classes are registered on there on the trading class. They're on there, as well as quizzes on there that your class didn't get the quizzes as much, but we're now quizzing, because now we're going to start working with the schools. We have one school in New York, 350 students, that the whole school is going to be teaching the children how to trade. And so we're going to be starting teaching the young people how to trade so they can grow their families out of poverty.
Wonderful. All right, everyone. You've been listening to WBRO Soul, and we are grateful that this Health and Wealth Tuesday has been off the chain with Dr. Hapi. Thank you, Dr. Hapi. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're quite welcome, Mood. And the work that you do with Master Force, we need that in our community. The young people need the leadership. They need to come into the circle to be those to help guide the light of those who are misguided, and to bring our community to the greatness that it needs to have, that it used to have. And only those of us who are truly seekers and truly want to shine the light upon our community with the knowledge that is priceless, the knowledge that we are not getting, the knowledge that we need, so that our elders could be vital and healthy. So our elders could say, if you don't keep up with me, I'm gonna have to leave you. So our elders can do so well, Moot, our elders can breathe so well. They tell the babies, breathe with me. And then the next thing you know, the babies are falling asleep because they didn't breathe the babies to sleep.
They bring the
When
babies to sleep.
the babies say, oh, grandma, you done tired me out. I got to take a break and rest. Then the elder don't have to be running around trying to keep up with the turbo too, because she say, breathe with me, little baby. Just do some breathing with me and put the baby. So we
That's what you
have the
got to
power,
do.
we have the secrets, and all we have
Yes,
to
we
do
do.
is do the work, and all we have to do is be seekers, and God, the Creator, will give us more than we are asking for. We will receive all of the benefits that we deserve, and we will have the great life. That is the life that the
Yes,
Creator
yes,
wants
yes.
to have, but we must do some work. We must come forth in the knowledge, because otherwise we are going forth away from the knowledge. We're going forth toward the suffering. We're going forth toward the poverty. We're going forth toward the depression. We're going forth toward the hopelessness, the helplessness, and we're going forward toward the unreceiving rather than the receiving. We want to be in the receiving mode of all the blessings that there are for us. And it is not
Yes.
in our young years. It is in all of the years of our life if we step correctly through all the years of our life. And so
That's
that
right.
is the blessing. That is the gifts of gifts, not the gift,
All
but the
right.
knowledge that brought the gift. The knowledge is what we lack. And because of that, we're in suffering. So that's what I'm keen on. That's my whole focus, is that we must step into all of it. Because if we step into all of it, we will be granted the grace of all the blessings. And all we
All
can do
right.
is smile, and all we can do is raise our arms up in the air and say, thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I'm going to tell everybody to join me next week when we will be talking to our very lovely Sister Africa about women who lead. All right, we'll see you next Tuesday.